Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 15 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I'm coming into today rated 1168. And for those of you who might be new to the series, I did start at a 400 elo, and the goal is to climb as high as possible while playing tricky and trappy chess, and hopefully be instructive along the way. So with that, let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent. We'll play e4. e6 was basically pre-moved. And I'm going to play knight to f3. And if d5, I'll play the two knights attack. But b6. So yeah, this is a system that's playable for black. Putting pressure on the e-pawn. Play bishop d3. I think at some point Gotham Chess was preaching something like this. But knight c6 does not harmonize well with the bishop. And I could play d5 right away. Yeah, let's kick the knight. Center opens a bit. Queen e7. Interesting. Wow, there's a really funny move here, which might actually be the best move. So I'm attacking the knight, but of course I'm in check. And there's a way to get out of check and make an additional threat. That move is king d2 to threaten rook e1. I'm going to do it because I don't see how black saves a knight and saves a queen. If knight to e5, I would take and then rook e1 still. So black is just sacking the knight. I am left with my king on d2, but it's nice being up a piece. Keep making threats. I guess I could walk to f1. I could also just move to c2. Looks very safe. Okay, opponent gives me the queen. Maybe forgot about the backwards knight move. I'll start with this move, ensuring the bishop can't retreat. And let's show no mercy. Queen d5 going for the kill. If c6, I'll win the bishop. Yeah, this should already be force mates. King a8, queen c7. Okay. Nice game. Just want to show the mate here. After king a8, queen c7, there is rook b8. But then there's a very nice move, rook e8. To deflect the rook and then mate. Or if, let's say, knight f6, there's queen b7, checkmate. So, short game. That was 16 moves. And yeah, just to show this moment, it is pretty rare that king d2 is justified, but this is actually, I guess, a tactical Bongcloud where you just check with the engine, but king d2 is the best move to clear the file for the rook. And if knight e5, I would take and still win the queen. So, nice start, up to 1177. Let's keep it going. Next opponent, I'm white again. Yeah, last episode I was black 3 games in a row. It was actually 3 Stafford Gambits last episode. Speaking of Stafford Gambit, my opponent does not play knight c6. Plays queen e7, which is kind of a common beginner mistake, which blocks a bishop. I am losing back the e-pawn, but I don't mind just developing, and I'll gain time against the queen. There's a small trap. If queen c6, I pin and win. So black should move to probably one of these squares. Queen e6 is a fine move. I'll just keep developing. Bishop d3. No need to do anything too crazy just yet. And I'm more inclined to castle queenside. Already in decent shape to attack on the king side. Maybe I can start pawn storming. Black is beginning the pawn storm with pawn a5. So yeah, it's really a question how I want to create the attack. I mean, there's knight g5 to attack the queen immediately. And maybe the queen slides over. There's also g4, which is interesting. And there's also playing in the center with knight e5. So I'm kind of torn between the options. I think I will play knight to g5. Most direct. Pressure h7. And then probably continue with pushing the h-pawn. Queen c6. Interesting. Okay, I'm seeing a tricky line, which starts with bishop to b5. Attacking the queen again. And the tricky line involves queen d3. And the idea is I'm trying to exploit this pawn. c6 is very, very wise, attacking the bishop and defending d5. I was trying to set up tactics with knight takes d5. Okay, let's be tricky. I'll play h4. Oh no, my bishop. This is a very intentional sacrifice. And this is a tactic I was trying to set up when I played queen d3. The knight is tied down to defending against checkmate. And I'm threatening mate in 2 with takes and takes. I'm also threatening the queen. So I'm basically guaranteed to win the queen here, or checkmate. Black was probably doing fine if they didn't take the bishop. Now it's not forced mate. Black could block the diagonal, but then, yeah, then I'll win the queen. In this case, I'll take, and checkmate is coming next. So will black play one more move? Will black resign? Okay. So that was 17 moves. Yeah, real quick, I'll check with the engine. Engine does not like what I did in this middle game. Yeah, it suggests rook e1, which is way more standard. But yeah, bishop b5. In some sense is hope chess. But yeah, this rating level, it's not easy to kind of foresee these tactics. And c6 was the best move. But here black should be a bit more careful. Engine likes queen d8. Actually, queen d8 would be trapping the bishop. Because now black is threatening to take. And if I play this, then the bishop eventually gets trapped. So I could have been in trouble if black played correctly there. But another quick game, up to 1186. Let's keep it going. Okay, this game I'm black. And I'm going to take a break from the Stafford Gambit. And I'll play an opening which I don't think I've played yet in this series. Alekhine Defense. Knight c3 is one approach. Main line is e5. Let's go for pawn to d5. And this could transpose into some Scandinavian type positions. Here we're going into an interesting line. Trading knights. So white has a few options which pawn to take. Yeah, if white takes either g7 or e7, I can take on d2 with check. So now it's a question, do I want to take with the e or g pawn? I think taking with e pawn makes a bit more sense. Can develop and castle more quickly. And I don't want to play bishop c5, that runs into d4. So I'll play bishop to d6. And it's actually a pretty tame, solid position for both sides. Nothing too crazy just yet. Expecting castling. Let's keep developing. Pinning the knight. And I definitely don't want to take. That only helps white activate the queen. In such cases, it's better to leave the pin. And white definitely doesn't want to play g4, weakening the king. And plays bishop e2, breaking the pin. Yeah, let's keep the tempo. Rook to e8. One of these moments where, yeah, not much thought is needed. Rooks on open files have smiles. I guess it will be a question how to develop the knight. I mean, knight c6 or knight d7 are the clear choices. Leaning towards knight d7. Because after knight c6, d4, the knight's a bit restricted. With knight d7, I might have this maneuver knight f8, e6, or even like f5 and knight f6. I'm also not blocking the c-pawn, and there might be the idea of c6 and then developing the queen. Okay, knight d4, so white is offering the trade of bishops. I don't really want to trade here. I'm going to move back to g6. Especially now because the knight is a bit awkward on d4. Like it's blocking the pawn. Can very easily be attacked. So white is still trying to trade, offering the rook trade, maybe trying to take on d7. Now I could take. Also thinking knight e5 looks nice. Avoiding the trades. Maybe looking to take on g4 and get the bishop pair. Okay, but white wants to trade bishops. Makes sense. Now I'm thinking c5. Just attack the knight. We might see a pawn cube after take and take. Actually, I think white has to take on g6. If the knight moves anywhere, then I win the bishop for free. And then it will be a question. After bishop takes g6, do I take the bishop or do I take the knight? There's a line take, and then knight's attack, the bishop's still hanging. I'm going to take the bishop. Get my pawn cube. Does keep my king very, very safe. And prevents knight f5. Now white has to decide where to put the knight. This would be a big mistake because I take, and then the queen can't take because of the rook on e1. So, wow, d3 being very generous. Yeah, white should have moved the knight probably to b5 or b3. Now, life is very good. Up a minor piece. Could trade rooks. Might as well. And this is a fork. If c4, I win d3. So I think I'm winning a pawn here. Yeah, white can't effectively defend everything. Keeping some tempo on the queen. Oh, there's multiple traps to set up. Let's play this. Oh no, my knight. I think it's pretty obvious, though, that I am threatening mate in 1. Oh, but white, yeah, white misses it. It was already not looking great for white. I mean, bishop d2 is better. Then I was going to play rook d8 and say, oh no, my knight again. Because if takes, there's bishop h2. But, yeah, it was very, very level game until white just gave the knight for free. I think knight b5 would have been interesting. I think then I would have played bishop to b8. And yeah, engine slightly prefers black, but this is still playable. So this brings me to 1195. Let's keep it going. Hopefully I can break 1200. Playing e4 again. And we have a Philidor defense. Play bishop c4. Okay, with this, I really want to set up Laclede's mate, which unfortunately I can't do after c6. Laclede's mate involves sacking the queen and going for the famous checkmate in the center. So I think I'll play h3 here, trying to provoke the trade. Threatening mate. And I'm going to throw in this move a4. Very typical move when black has played c6. That prevents pawn b5. Makes sure the bishop has room to maintain itself on the diagonal. And then going forward, I'll probably look to attack. g4, g5 looks very attractive. Black is preemptively preventing my g5 thrust. So I'll just play d3. Black has also prevented bishop g5. So my plan now is to play g4 and then trade on g5, get the bishop in. Another idea is to prepare g5 to play h4, rook g1, then try and make the knight move so I can checkmate. So we'll see what black does. Like if bishop e7, then I'm actually more inclined to kind of slow play. But black plays g5. Okay, not expecting that. So h4 comes to mind. Yeah, I'm going to play h4. Bishop g7. Bishop g7 did defend the rook, but allows me to win this pawn. And this is looking very, very nice. Up a pawn. Have a pretty nasty pin. But knight d7 is a good move. Now it's a question how to continue applying pressure. Black probably wants to play this and castle. I'm going to castle myself. There's only one open file in the position. Rook h1 is on tap. Okay, I could take and then take. I could also take a pawn on f7. Let's go for this. This trades down, wins some material. I'll have 2 minor pieces for the rook. And the king should be decently safe on d2. Okay, black is attacking the b pawn. It is important to note my queen's defending f2. So, considering taking the pawn, But I think it makes more sense just to be safe. And eventually I do want to take here and then maybe someday make another queen. And black could attack, like rook f1 or rook h2. But then king e2 and everything's defended. Actually, I think I'm more inclined to take on d6. Although I could take here and then win the rook if black's not careful. Okay, let's take on f7. Oh no, my pawn. Okay, king b8. It's probably one of the best moves. And black does want to take next. I'm looking for mating ideas, but I think I'll just keep winning pawns. I'm expecting rook takes g4. There's also rook to g2, so this is threatening mate in 2. Let's defend. Being very careful not to mouse slip. Now I can take. And we'll probably see rook g2 back. I really haven't had too many games in this series that have gone this deep into some kind of endgame. So, the queen is still tied down to a5. Yeah, it's hard to get to the king. Queen c5 maybe. We'll start with bishop e6. Just attack the rook, improve the bishop. That's a good move. Black has everything defended. Queen f4. Actually, bishop f5 looks better. Yeah, cutting off the rook. It is nice keeping the queen, eyeing the pawn. And yeah, there's cases in chess where, like, even if you're much better up material, you still have to be patient. Wait for the opportunity. And probably what I want to do is improve my knight. Because it's completely restricted. Can't easily move forward. And to improve the knight, I might have to retreat and then reroute. Okay, black gives the pawn. So this should make life easier. Put the queen back. Okay, here I'm keeping my knight on c3. Help support the b5 push. The knight is also useful in preventing queen a2. So there's really no infiltration on the diagonal. Okay, there is one check. King d2. King is still very safe. Beginning to look for mating ideas. There's some lines king b8, check. Okay, here I can play queen d7. At the very least, I'm winning the rook. But at the very most, am I checkmating? Might as well. I'll win the pawn with check. And I'm going to win the other pawn with check. But is it mating? Getting closer. Yeah, this is force mate. King a7, knight b5. Or this. Okay. Yeah, definitely took some patience. Chess.com is alerting me I broke 1200 up to 1204. That was 46 moves. Yeah, definitely one of the longest games for this series. My opponent played solidly. Opening was maybe a bit passive. Did make some mistake around here. Rook g8 is probably the best move. Engine also likes taking, but yeah, it's already difficult for black. White's just much more ahead in development. And yeah, I think the whole game I was in control, just had to fend off the threats and keep making progress. So I think I'll wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed the chess today. As always, if you like the content, do subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.